No matter where you're going,
tell everybody
here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Unity family. Please stand and join us.
Stars in a brilliant night sky, here for each other in joy and pain. Grateful for this family, spiritual community. The love we share is sunshine after rain. All is well when we are together, greater, stronger, all is well. All is well when we are together, deeper, kinder, all is well. Oh, oh, when we're together, it feels like home. Kindred spirits never alone. Let's join voices and sing our song. Music is the food of love. At this table is more than enough. In this moment, take a breath and sing along. All is well when we are together, greater, stronger, all is well. All is well when we are together, deeper, kinder, all is well. All is well when we are together, greater, all is well. All is well when we are together, deeper, kinder, all is well. Oh, oh,
Good job, y'all.
If you're not, are you thinking you're not supposed to be here, you can leave at this time or you can stay and enjoy the service, okay? So anyway, all is well. I hope all is well with you. If it is, great. If it's not, you're in the right place. You're right here in the right place. because we share our pain together, we share our love together, we share our lives together, and we do that as we practice a practical, positive, and progressive approach to Christianity. That's who we are and what we are. And we offer each and every one of you this opportunity this morning to continue the healing process, to continue to understand that you are love, act as love, and that you can be love in the world. So thank you for being here this morning. And now please share with me our vision statement, which says, we are a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And our mission statement is, we transform lives that transform the world. And that is the truth.
When you did that,
It's not my age. So let's pray. How about that, okay? And as we come together this morning, we do so through the power of Spirit. It dwells in us. It is who we are, what we are, and how we show up. It is the self within that is seeing the world out there. And as we see it, we are able to manage our lives and to understand and know who and what we are, to grow spiritually, to evolve spiritually, and to know that the Christ within is the positive way in which we see ourselves and the way in which we see each and other and each and every person, no matter where we are. And so it is. Amen.
It's time to rise up.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in my heart, in my life today.
We'll try that one more time.
Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in my heart, in my life today. I can feel it, spirits in this place. I can see it shining on each face. Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in our hearts, in our lives today. Here for each other, the way it's meant to be. Sisters and brothers, one great family. Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive everywhere.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the time in the service when we turn and greet our neighbors with a bow, a handshake, or a hug. And please repeat to them the divinity salute. The divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in my heart, in my life, everywhere, in the world, every face. In this place, love is alive.
Ooh-ah, yeah, baby. You got it.
Oh, this one?
Set that down.
Good morning.
Set that one down. And then speak it. Right, Terry?
Again, our word for today is reflection. Join me in our affirmation. I reflect the brilliant light of God. God, the one presence and power in the universe, is expressing through all people, the natural world, and all aspects of life. If I ever doubt the presence of God, I need only behold the world around me. The light of God is being reflected in the kind words and acts of people, in the beauty and magnificence of nature, and in life's grand rhythms and minuscule moments. I too reflect the brilliance of God. My dreams, ideas, and all I do to make my mark on the world are just some of the ways the divine expresses uniquely as me. Living from my divinity, I bring more of God's light into the world. Our scripture verse is from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. And all of us, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. If you would like prayer support today, we have several options for you. You may fill out a prayer request form at the prayer table by the chapel, or submit a prayer request on our website, unityrenaissance.org. You may also call the Unity Prayer Ministry anytime, day or night, at 816-969-2000. And for those of you that are here, we have our prayer chaplains who are standing. And after the service, they will be located in the chapel, which is just outside the sanctuary doors past the bookstore. And now please rise and join us for the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise
art in heaven,
praise your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Supply our needs.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts,
Let your forgiveness
as we have also forgiven our debtors.
lead us away.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Amen. I'm through asking where I'm going. I've been asking all my life, and I've grown tired of all this wandering when everything seems to turn out right. So when my mind needs something to do, wants to know the future, I whisper this: I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not afraid this time. Some say it's crazy, some say naive to close my eyes and take the leap. But I know better, 'cause I believe even in the dark my soul can see. So when my mind plays its usual game, oh, my answer is always the same. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all on the line, but I'm not
and I'll always be that way. I'm okay, I've always been, and I'll always be that way.
Lily Scott. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you, Lily. There we go. And you know, I don't know who enjoyed that most, Boyd or me. Thank you. Oh, I have the great privilege of introducing somebody I've known since she was 14 years old. Yeah, it's a long time. But we've been married for 34 years, so something happened in between. And we're not going to discuss that this morning, okay? But anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Vicki. She's a clinical social worker, or was. She's a Unity minister. She has had her practice in clinical social work as a clinician and had a very vibrant practice in El Paso, Texas. As a matter of fact, it's because of her practice that I was able to go into the ministry there, to be honest, okay? Because she was the breadwinner in that case and did a great job. She also is a spiritual director and one of the founders of Unity's Spiritual Direction Certificate Program that now has graduated one class and another is on the way. Started up 2 years ago. And she is an expert in family systems. And she points it out to me every once in a while. But she does it sweetly most of the time. We have a great relationship. That's not what you're here to hear, but we do. I appreciate her. And when we got married, she said the reason we're getting married is so that we can enhance our spiritual journey and the spiritual journeys of others. I didn't know what she was talking about. I really didn't. And I found out. Thank God. Honey, welcome.
Thank you. Oh, he shares too much. But thank you so much for allowing me to come and be with you. I feel so privileged. And I feel like I'm with old friends. Now, I've known Valerie for quite a while, since she was one of my students, SEE class. And I loved her. And then I met Cindy. Richard I've known since we were in seminary, or even before, for all the songs I have sung that he has written during my lifetime. I feel so ready to share them with the world because they speak truth. But what I really came here to share with you today is the fact that you're in a transition. You've got big changes coming. And I've done a little bit of work in my lifetime in trying to look at how we make changes and how we become conscious enough of ourselves so that we can step out and do something that contributes. How many of us this morning, I'll raise my hand first, want to contribute and participate to alleviate the suffering in this world? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Okay. Everybody. I know that's where your heart is. That's where my heart is. That's where the heart of this ministry is. And so I'm here to just point out a few things about how to stay conscious, how to get conscious, how to be in that realm where we say, all is well. We started off our service today singing, all is well when we get together. So, when we are conscious, it seems as if we have opportunities throughout life to recognize them and celebrate them. Suppose you have a big decade birthday. you get to meet yourself again, whether it's 40, 50, 60, 70, and on. It's as if blowing out those candles, give us a little reminder that, we're here on this earth for a while. And let's be aware of what we're doing while we're here. So we want to remind ourselves to meet ourselves and ask ourselves certain questions. Now, I want to give you some pointers so you can be more conscious and enjoy being more conscious. The first one is to notice when you are resistant. Now, that might sound like a negative, but I want us to turn it around. Notice when you are resistant and you ask yourself, why am I resisting something different, new, or whatever is changing in my life? Someone says, come on through that class with me. And you say, no, I took a class 30 years ago, and I understand all the new thought principles. Now, that's an exaggeration, of course, but it's the point where we don't even consider doing something that's not part of our regular schedule. So we can step back and say, why am I resistant to doing anything that is different? Why don't I call a friend? Why don't I pick up somebody? Why don't I check on someone? Why don't I? Paint that wall. I've been wanting to paint that wall for 5 years. And you see, it's these patterns we get into that limit us, and we sit with complaints and we sit with ourselves, and we just kind of grumble. But can we blame the wall? Can we blame anything? No, of course not. No one is there actively saying, don't do it, except that part of ourselves. We can call that our little lovely shadow. So I want to ask you if you have had a time when you caught yourself resisting something. Okay, you can go like that. You don't have to raise your hand. But ask yourself and be real, because what we want to do is to remember we are holding ourselves down. We are resisting our good. We're not moving forward as we want to feel the excitement of life. Rather, we're sitting on our energy, and it's just too hot to go outside, and it's too hot to cook, and it's too hot just to go anywhere. So what we're doing is not figuring out how to take a shower, find a pool, call a friend, something like that. Our job, our number one priority in life, if we understand who we are truly as spiritual beings, our number one priority is to be grounded, firmly rooted in life, and understand our nature is one of being. And that means without limitation. That means knowing I'm a powerful being. Why am I having a bad day? When I have that power to step out and just shift it, just like that. Do I remember? Not always. Does Richard remember? We remind each other. You see, that's what couples do to help one another stay conscious. Right, Richard? So what I want to read you is a quote from Eckhart Tolle. He's a wonderful spiritual master for us at this time. And he says that as the chaos, the violence, and the speed of change of our world grows, so does the pressure for many of us to maintain a sense of grounded sanity and be able to respond to the suffering in the world. So what's happening out there, the mounting angst, is something is also happening within us, but rather than it being angst and anxiety, we're transmuting, transforming, and we are making it energy that is of God mind, where we can come out and we can bring ourselves into situations and minimize the hurt, the pain, and support the lives of others. So let's talk more about staying rooted and being conscious. Would you say that, given all the issues that we have today, that the world doesn't have a chance to recover? Now, you don't answer, please, because I want you to consider carefully what I'm saying. Just what is your mindset? What are you thinking right now about, let's see, we've got these huge environmental issues, systemic racism. We have economic issues. Our children are having difficulty getting their education in sequences. We have issues. And if we look at them as being insurmountable, then what have we done? We've succumbed to the ways of the world, rather than saying, wait a minute, it is my nature. It is my nature to respond to a catalyst. I know how to stand, I know how to rise up. I do. Nobody has to tell me. I get it inside me, deeply. It's time to take some action. That's our fifth principle, isn't it? And we have these wonderful teachers that have shown us how to prosper in difficult times. But you and I are facing, just COVID alone has been quite a challenge for us. Shifted our whole way of doing things and being with one another. So staying conscious means conscious of what we can do, not conscious of how bad it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, that's how we operate with our thinking. We take it and we don't just accept what is wrong in the world or we perceive to be wrong in the world. We do not. We know how to reach out and move that energy when we remember to be grounded in spirit, when we remember who we are. Oh, I remember I'm a powerful spiritual being. Really? I don't feel so powerful. I can't even keep my Amazon account straight. It's those little things just trying to run through my head. What is it I have some difficulty with? Uploading some of my computer programs, obviously. Anyway, our job is to self-observe, notice ourselves, notice what we're thinking, what we're saying. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, said, you and I are responsible for every word we say. Every word we say, every thought we think. And how that plays out is the results of our lives, what we manifest, how well we're doing in life. We see we're not satisfied with our lives. What are we thinking? What can we do to shift it, to get that energy moving again? And that energy is of God, and we will not accept anything less. We will not think in terms of victimhood. where we believe things are happening to us, and self-pity and oh my, again, here it's happening. And be so down on ourselves. I spent years doing that. What did it give me? Well, it gave me a perspective that doesn't work. and hence, when I went into social work and I went into ministry and then into spiritual direction, I was looking for guidance. Really, how do we live our lives so we don't fall into that pit of self-pity and blame and just give up? When you and I are fully conscious, we can observe ourselves when we go into that pity place. We can stay there, work it out, but we do not want to live there. Do we? No. And so however we perceive our path, whether or not we think we've done it well, or we think we've had more failures than successes, our job is just to say, I've learned well from every experience I've had. Thank you, God. I've learned well what not to do, what to do. And so in this change that you guys are in, I'm going to say that this is where you are. You're going to be able to step back and say, yes, we miss our beloved Paula and all the others who have been here nurturing this congregation. But when you say, well, I'm going to step forward, I'm going to be a stakeholder. I'm going to be a real stakeholder, so much that I'm going to be holding this congregation, this transitional minister, this music team, these prayer chaplains, the youth program, my audiovisual people. I'm holding everyone in prayer because you are powerfully holding the life of this ministry together. And so when you attract the new minister, that'll be wonderful. But you will already be firmly rooted. You will already know who you are. And if you haven't figured it out, talk to somebody. Because this ministry is alive. I want you to know that. You're wonderfully alive. Because of that, each one of you as a stakeholder can find something to do. Find a little something. Share a little something with another. So everyone in this congregation has a purpose. We teach that to our children in the youth program, in unity. And so why not, as adults, say, oh yes, perhaps I can contribute. What might it be? It's up to you. But that's how we become conscious, because we're really holding that light that I can do this and more. I really can. And if I'm resistant, remember? We remember that wakes us up to be conscious, and we can then say, I think I do want to do more. Who do I talk with? Who do I sit down with? And just look at myself. Now, Richard mentioned family systems. I want to quickly tell you that I went into a master's program at VCU in clinical social work, specializing in Bowen's family system. Murray Bowen, back in the 1950s, was a psychiatrist, and he said all families, units that live together closely have the same 8 behaviors. And we see them in all walks of life. and we can examine them, and we can see the amount of discomfort or comfort or growth or not growth. We can see how they stick together and how it's difficult to differentiate and break out of the same patterns that your family established. How accepting are they of you, of your decisions? So I'm going to provide the next 3 Wednesday nights to just dig into it, and we'll look at some examples and share a few things, because family systems is also relating to a church family system. And so how we operate or operated as a child, how we operate in our current lives, and then bring it into the church is very interesting. So we act and react thinking the other person's doing something to us, but really they're not. They're just being themselves. Whatever's happening is happening within us. We feel deeply, and we share that with one another. But when we can sit and talk and just put it out there and look at it, it just becomes so easy to make those inner changes. So I invite you to join us on Wednesday nights. Now, when we think about being conscious, I want to say one thing. Our children, I have this fondness for our children. And I used to think we needed to do something profound with them. But studies are showing us that we may think just taking a child out for lunch, or taking a child out to the park, or taking a child out to get a pair of shoes is a superficial thing and not very meaningful, but I guarantee you it is meaningful. It's creating a sense of, I'm worthy, I really appreciate this, I learned some gratitude, give and receive love, so many wonderful ways of growing and knowing, and that child knowing there is something within me that the others see about me. Not that I'm more special, but I'm good enough. And we have that message that our children don't feel deserving or worthy. And what we can do is break through that with just a little lunch out. They don't have to do anything to deserve our time or attention. You know, Marianne Williamson has, I'm sure you've seen her at some point or read a book about her, but she says we just block our good and we block our light, and we were born to shine. Our children are born to shine. We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us. And we are able to do that in a spiritual setting primarily that gives us opportunity. Sunday after Sunday, or online in a class, or somewhere, a child wakes up and knows that somebody cares. Now, one last thing. I want to talk about the relationships that Richard also mentioned. I was confused about marriage. I thought that we were getting second marriage for both of us. I thought we were going to commit to how we were living our lives and do it on a spiritual plane. That's all. That's all. Richard says he didn't understand that. And the way he was right, because he was still going into Methodist churches, other denominations, and I was not. And I was going to walk in the garden, do a walk as recommended by Thich Nhat Hanh, or do some yoga, or something outside of a church setting that I considered spiritual. So it took years before Richard understood about these other ways to become conscious rather than coming to church on a Sunday morning. And I have to tell you, I fell in love with him when he had red hair, big black glasses, and was the skinniest guy on the basketball court. And honestly, you know, being with someone throughout their lifetime is a real treat. So I'm sure you have your special memories as well. But here's what I wanted to share about relationships. We're not here to make each other happy. Richard and I are not married to make each other happy. We're here to make each other conscious. What are we doing? What is this relationship all about? What decisions need to be made that we can make together? Why did we not know that to go in that direction? So if somebody is bringing out the mad in you, really, really pushing some of your buttons, be glad. Drop down on your knees and say, thank you, God, because you're finally doing the work. And you're not glossing over, and you're not just pretending you're in a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? It takes real work to dig in and become conscious. So if you're jealous of your spouse as to their profession or their education or this or that, or you're defensive when asked the question, or you feel emotional pain of any kind, whatever it is, that becomes your spiritual practice. That's what you sit with in the morning when you first get up and have that little sip of coffee and you say, oh my gosh, I've got to think about da-da-da. And you hold it in the light so that it doesn't become something you resent, rather it becomes something that you embrace. And you say, it came up. What is it? What is it? It's not about him. It's not about me particularly. There's something gnawing at me. And that's when you journal, that's when you read, and that's when you pray. So, all in all, we do what's called a spiritual evolution as we step back and look at ourselves. Perhaps we were at one point seeing the world through the eyes of a victim. The world's doing terrible things to me and terrible things to one another and so on. And we realize, oh, I can shift that. I can actually create something different. Or we saw the world through the eyes of being a rescuer. Oh, I really need to help that person. They can't do it on their own. And it comes from a place of almost ego fulfilling to step out and support someone rather than coaching them to really, they've got tools. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What can I do to support you? You see how that shifts and empowers? So this dynamic principle of shifting and transforming is real. And we get it, and it's just that quick that it can happen. And the last one is when we're in the role of a perpetrator, and we're telling someone what they should do, and we're all self-righteous in their face. We can step back and say, that's harmful. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to instead challenge them to do something different. That didn't work last time. And you see, we move into a place where we can be heard. The other person can't hear us if we're just telling them what to do. Again, in these close relationships, in these families, this is how we learn these dynamics. And in a spiritual setting, we can unlearn and relearn. Always going to that place where the glory of God is to be manifested in each one of us. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. And that's what Marianne says. No shrinking. You're meant to shine. So, I have a couple more stories. I'll save them for our Wednesday nights. I just wanted to be with you, to encourage you to look into any fear, examine any insecurity, such as, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. And we're constantly running up against these fears. And when we finally check in, we hate ourselves when we do that. Shifting again. Self-love that leads us away from defeating talks, behaviors, obsessions, addictions, the fear of what others will say. You just need to move in consciousness to finding that place of being present with others. Just standing by the door and saying good morning to someone is a very beautiful spiritual moment. When we look into their eyes and we just are with them and they with us. Can we do more of that? Can we be the Christ in expression, with or without the so-called senior minister? Sure. Absolutely, but we have to become conscious. So I'm going to close with this. When we think about our 5 principles, we can read them all and we can go into a lengthy discussion about them. But I like to simplify things. And so I'm saying that when we shorten them, we can say, God is. I am. I think it. I pray it. I live it. You understand? You're following me? Those of you who have studied the 5 principles know they're deeply important for us to grasp, and yet very simple in nature. God is. I am. I think it, law of mind action. I pray it, knowing that I'm coming from that place of affirmative prayer. I just pray it, see it done. And I live it. And I live it out. I live it large, best I can. Being an introvert, I kind of fumble and stumble around that one a little bit. But I do think that we can all heal. Every one of us can heal into being the person that can make a difference. There was an Indian poet in the 15th century named Kabir, a Hindu mystic, and he said this: "Why run around sprinkling holy water when there's an ocean inside you, and when you're ready, you'll drink?" So we're going to go into a little meditation now. We're going to take some of these thoughts with us. Let's just be together, be close together. Become conscious of this group, this wonderful, beloved community that is blessing so many. How do I become conscious? How do I alleviate suffering in the world? How do I? What is mine to do? So I invite us to go into a moment of discernment, and let's just hang out there for a moment and see what the Holy Presence says to us. Take a moment to notice your body. Are you totally aware of yourself sitting on that chair? Are you alert to listening to Spirit? Are you willing to listen more? Do you want to participate in a greater way in your world, whatever that might be? And so allowing these thoughts to bubble up and come to us, we recognize, yes, I can be a light in this world, and I can drink from that ocean when I'm ready. So come back to this space and this time knowing Spirit is going to flow through you, through this congregation, through the minister that's coming here to serve you, and through each one of you as powerful spiritual beings. Thank you for letting me be here today.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Thank you, honey. You were very nice to me today. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm still thinking about the message, but I'll get to the service now in a second. At this time, we have this opportunity to share our love offerings. That means to share what we've been blessed with, that each of us is a source. The source is not there, it's in here. And as we look at ourselves, can you hear me? As we look at the source is in here, we are the source, and there is a source out there that feeds us, but each of us is a source of the giving and the benefit that Unity Renaissance receives by your giving. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I give thanks for each of you. And I invite you to make a love offering today. You can do it when you leave in the back, either by cash or by check. You can give it online. You can go to your our website and do it. And you can also phone in. And the way we do that is to Tithely and
540-418-1228. Text now.
Okay. And in spirit, we just did that, and we gave of ourselves. And so let's now share our offertory blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Back in good measure, it's given back to you.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
No mud, no lotus. Haven't you noticed
the patterns of the pain in your past. The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions you needed to ask. The sleepless nights and the dizzying heights and the dreams, some of which came true. Tougher breaks, heartaches, perfect mistakes created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you, grows you. And everything you go through grows you, exposes who you are. If it hurt, it made you softer. If it was hard, it fueled the hunger. If it touched you, your heart took hold. If it was simple, it made you wise. If it was sweet, it made you smile. Weaved an indelible impression on your soul. Your feet, they walked, and your lips, they talked, and your hands dug around for the truth. Every look, every book, picture in your mind that you took created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you, grows you. And everything you go through grows you, exposes the roots of an endless summer, part-time temporary lovers in the swoon of a deep blue sky. And as the time flew, you planted and gathered your truth as it passed before your eyes. And the wound is where the light gets in, revealing the masterpiece just beneath the skin. In the glow of your own light, your petals open wide, and you bloom right where you are. And everything you go through grows you, grows you. And everything you go through grows you, it exposes who you are. No mud, no lotus, haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past? The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions you needed to ask.
Let's hear it for Nick Hill.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Now we want to have an opportunity to welcome anybody who is here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, would you please just raise your hand? We want to say hello to you. And our ushers have a gift packet. I do not see a hand in the house. So I'm assuming that some people out there online, listening to us live, are here for the first time. We want to welcome you also for being in our service. And we'd like to suggest that you come by and try us out one Sunday if you've not been here. So thank you for sharing these moments with us. And so now, at this time, we have, I think, a few announcements. and I'm going to let Reverend Richard take over.
Well, thank you. I'm not taking over, but I'm inviting Carol Ann up. Yeah. How are you today?
How's it going?
Good. I should have worn my white suit. So coming up tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, Monday morning, start your week off right, 11 a.m., we have the Creative Wisdom Workshop. These have been really well received and rave reviews about them. So it's using the creative arts to explore wisdom and awaken your imagination. And this lady here, Lisa, very good at what she does. And it's $30. It includes all of the things you'll need, materials you'll need, yeah. And so please attend this. And we're going to try to do these every single month. I want you all to know what they're about when they come up. So tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., get your week started correctly. Not correctly, but right.
Okay. And we have All in the Family with Reverend Victoria coming up. And that will be the next 3 Wednesdays. It's a 3-week series beginning July 19th. This class will focus on our awareness of personal and church family systems. It's Zoom only, love offering, and it's going to be so good.
We turn that in. That starts this Wednesday. Our resident vegan master chef, Lisbeth Cherboga, is doing another vegan cooking class. It's coming up this Thursday at 6 p.m. Y'all just show up here. She'll have the food ready for you. It's about cooking with jackfruit, but I'm sure a lot more, right? Probably, maybe, yeah, mostly a lot more. And she needs $40. We need a pre-registration so we know how much food to prepare. And that food, $40, not only covers this amazing lesson in vegan cooking, but you're going to get to eat all that stuff you cook afterwards. So yeah, come hungry.
Okay, our spiritual cinema is back, and this Friday it will be, this is a really sweet film. It's called The Little Prince, and it's about this guy who, this asteroid guy who ends up getting stuck on Earth. And it's really, really sweet. So there's free popcorn and discussion after, and so please join us for that on Friday.
Thanks. So that'll be good. And it's time for a little spotlight announcement. We're going to bring Mr. Christopher Naughton up to tell you a little bit about Glenn coming next week. Chris.
Good morning, everyone. First, I have to say thank you, Victoria, for your illuminating speech today. Thank you so very much. And since I got the mic, I've got to say this. You guys are just off the charts. You lift us up every week. I don't think you even, I hope you realize what you do for us. I mean, I am just elevated, and this entire sanctuary is too, so thank you. We love you so much. All right. Are you ready for some radical unity? All right, good. Next week, author Glenn Aparicio Parry is going to be here. Some of you took the book class we had last year. He is a 2-time Nautilus Award-winning author. He's fantastic. He speaks around the country. He's going to be here, and for 2 reasons. One, he's going to be giving the talk next week, and of course my phone just went blank, so I've just got, only take me a second, folks, I promise. He's going to be giving the talk next week, which is from Wholeness. Come on, here we go. Sorry, bear with me, thank you. The name is From Politics to Love, A Journey from Fragmentation to Wholeness. And after the talk and after the service, he's going to be conducting a workshop, the Respect, Kinship, and Love workshop. And what Glenn likes to do is he likes to mix in modern American thinking and consciousness with indigenous wisdom, the kind of wisdom where there's an understanding that we are radically interrelated. And so in this workshop, he's going to start with a few opening remarks, and then he's going to go into a very deep dialogue where you're going to come away with not only a greater feeling of love, but how respect, kinship, and love build off one another. And I think in today's chaotic environment and also the shifts and changes we're going through as a church, it couldn't be a better time coming. The cost is only $25. No one is turned away. And come and join us for a whole lot of love and a whole lot of fun.
Christopher. That's going to be great.
Oh, and now Lynn Klein's going to come up. Lynn.
There she is. I was looking for you.
Well, we have an opportunity for everyone to participate in our JCOC community dinner. And if you're feeling a little resistance right now, thank you for the segue, Reverend Vicky, that just let go of any resistance. For those of you who don't know, JCOC is the Judeo-Christian Outreach Center in Virginia Beach, and they provide meals for people experiencing homelessness or food insecurity 365 days a year. And they do that by having community churches and synagogues participate. So our turn is not this coming Friday, but the following, July 28th, Friday afternoon. We'll be serving the meal in the evening, preparing it here, serving it there. And even if you work on Fridays or you're out of town that day, there are other ways to participate. You don't have to be here on that day. We're looking for food donations, paper goods, and things like that, because we have to pack them in to-go supplies. We need drivers to get things over there. We need somebody to run the grill here. We're going to grill hot dogs and make chili dogs. And I spoke with the manager at the JCOC the other day, and she was so excited that we were grilling chili dogs. And, you know, it sounds like a little thing, but it's a treat for people. And she said they hadn't had that menu in a while. So it's going to be a fun time. Debbie and I are going to have a table out in the narthex after the service. You can see us to get more information, to sign up. We also need bakers, people who would be willing to provide a homemade dessert. So there are lots of ways to participate, and we'll start collecting food and baked goods next Sunday and throughout the following week. Things can be frozen if need be, if you have to drop it off early. But again, check with us, and if you can't stay after the service to sign up, we also on our website, if you go to the calendar and click on the JCOC dinner, it'll bring you to a sign-up genius. So you'll be able to see whatever we still need. So I hope everybody will participate, and thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Oh, there we are. Okay. Well, I'm going to thank Victoria again. There we go. If you'd like to become hello? If you'd like to become a stakeholder at Unity Renaissance, we have a new member Sunday coming up August 13th. And if you want to be a member of this beautiful community, be able to vote on important things, get discounts in the bookstore, et cetera, you need to take one class to let you know what Unity's about, what our movement's about, what this church is about. It's called Path to Discovery. And that'll be on the Saturday and the Monday before the Sunday. So our new member Sunday is the 13th. You'll be either take the class on Saturday at 11 on the 5th, and that one's live, or you can take the class Monday night at 6:30 Zoom. So if you'd like to become a member, sign up for one of those classes, and I'll see you there. One of my favorite classes to teach, and Cindy Mills is going to teach the other class. We love doing this, so introducing you all to Unity. So if you'd like to be a member, August 13th, sign up for a class. There we go.
And Richard, you're a very good teacher. It's a good class. It's a very good class. Okay.
Check.
We have our annual school supply coming up for the students of Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. Collection boxes will be in the narthex outside, and there will be weekly e-blasts for items to donate. So look for that. That'll be coming up too. Okay, during the ministerial search process, we have a board of director trustee available, and today it's Jolene. And Jolene is also a member of the ministerial search committee. So she'll be available outside in the lobby after the service, and you can talk to her and ask any questions that you have for her. Thank you, Jolene.
Yeah, thanks, Jolene, for doing that. Okay, so next week we have Glenn Aparicio-Perry going to talk to you, as Christopher said, and be sure to come prepared to stay for his workshop afterwards. All right, now let's all stand up and welcome in our children.
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking in the light of God.
Well, good morning, good morning. First, we'd like to pray over the offertory, if we may. So everyone take a deep breath. Oh, sweet Spirit, thank you so much for this monetary offering that these children gave today during service. And we so like to thank you for our children themselves, all that they shared, all that they are, all that they brought, all that they created. And so it is. Amen. We have something special today.
Story behind this.
1, 2, 3. Splish splash, splish splash. Next week is Splish Splash Sunday.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Long about a Friday afternoon.
Thank you, Richard. So for all of the families, and that means all of the families, it's not just limited to children. If you want to come out there and play, we want to make sure that you do not forget your sunscreen, your swimsuits, your safe water shoes, got my notes here, and your towels. Do not forget.
Families, you don't need to worry about anything except for those items B just suggested, because we're having Splish Splash Sunday during service right outside. So a couple of changes. We're going to still enter into the sanctuary, into the great room, and sign the children in as normal. However, because we don't want to clean up a huge mess, we're asking that you sign them out outside after service so that we don't have to come back in. Also, so important, our teachers need a break. So, in the month of August, YFM will be closed. However, the sun always shines. The Meyer Hall will be open with service on the TV. It is family friendly, and I will be sure every Sunday to put out a fidget table. So if you're not comfortable sitting with your little ones in the sanctuary, please feel comfortable in Meyer Hall. And with that, we'd like everyone to stand up for the prayer of protection and the peace song.
Together, the light of God surrounds
us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin